We gonna take on the world. We're gonna take on the world. Standing tall. We gotta make it our own. No waiting around. Winners would never look down. No one can stop us. We got it. The future is right in our hands. Give it 100%. We gonna take on the world. Yeah, we gotta move. Speaking the truth. Yeah, paying our dues. We making the news. Yeah, we hitting the roof. No, we don't wanna lose. Climbing and shaking the walls. We gotta break all the rules.
All right, we are live. Third Eye Truth Theorem Podcast, back at you again. Episode 31. 32? 31?
31.
Okay, good. Thanks, Joe.
31.
I am your host, James Gill. We have my co-host, Joe Hill. We got Eric
Burns. I knew you were going to look at me when you needed it.
Burns, like Mr. Burns?
Yes.
There you go. Just like Mr.
Yes.
Burns.
Eric Burns.
Why does he always get people's names wrong?
I don't get them all wrong all the time. I'm going to give you applause. Eric Burns, welcome.
Thank you.
And then we have Chris Thompson.
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks, guys, for showing up. I pushed all the wrong buttons. Yeah, that's what I was looking
There we
for. Right
go.
there we go. Like air horn.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Welcome to Third Eye Truth Theorem Podcast. I am your host again. We're gonna make this an epic episode. This is a different episode, guys. We had we're talking about the child support, not child support, but the child custody court system and how it fails men and helps women the most.
And James, not to interrupt already, but the men who are deserving, or the mothers who are deserving, I don't want to count anybody out, because there are those fathers out there that get mistreated, whatever, but they deserve to be mistreated because they don't do what they're supposed to be doing.
Okay,
Exactly.
fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing I want to get at is where the court system pretty much neglects the father.
It fails immediately.
Fails automatically.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's almost like a default button, if you will.
exactly. So here's an example. I was watching this video. This guy got divorced. His wife divorced him because she wasn't happy with him, blah, blah, blah. And this is most of the time. And not to mention that most divorces are started by women. 70% of them.
Yeah.
Started by women.
Sure.
So with that being said, this guy got a divorce. And he's making lots of money. And she divorced him and said he was an inadequate father. She just railed this guy to death. And not only that, he gave her $1.5 million in the beginning, and he had to give her an additional 1.7.
Oh, wow.
So he wasn't able to do that right away. Got put in jail for a year.
I mean, after the 1.5, what more do you need at that?
Exactly.
I mean, at that moment.
So not only that, she went off to write a book on how she was a single mom.
I got stories already.
How she was left with 4 children, fit for
Wow.
herself, and this guy he lived right down the street where the kids go. He never sees his kids,
And willing to.
Yeah, he was willing to. He
Wanting to.
Not only that, he still paid for colleges, the whole 9 yards. When he had instant access to his children, saw his children all the time, but she kept downplaying him all the time. She went on TV shows promoting her book on how she was a single mom with 4 children with deadbeat dad.
Wow.
Mm.
And see, and it's crazy because men have to jump through countless amount of hoops.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where a woman just kind of puts her foot forward, steps up, and then next thing you know, boom, they give her everything that she wants or needs, you know, and it makes it harder on the willing fathers for sure. It's sad to me,
is.
honestly. It's really sad.
And like I said, when I watched this video, my mouth dropped to the floor instantly when this guy said he paid $1.5 million to give to his wife and his children. Why do you need that much money?
1.5 mil. Oh my
1.5
gosh.
million. How much money does it take to raise a child?
I can't even relate to that because I never seen 1.5 million in my life.
Right.
So
Man.
So instead of talking about someone that's rich, talk to the people about now, though. The people that are now right here that are now making from paycheck to paycheck.
Mhm.
I don't care about the people that are making rich
Right.
bank. I don't care about the rich bitches. I don't care. The people that are now, like they're talking about, are the people that are suffering, the people that are not doing anything about shit. I mean, sorry for these guys over here. Yeah, there are some deadbeat dads that deserve the moms to get the kids.
Yeah.
I agree
even
with
a
that.
deadbeat dad could come around if he could see his kids once in a while and do stuff and not be automatically disqualified from the courts
Well,
and from the mom.
But you don't think they already tried that before they went to the court?
Exactly.
True.
I'm sorry. I mean, it goes, what you guys are going with talking about this, it's tit for tat. The moms could be deadbeat moms too.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
But the court might go with it because they birthed a child. No offense.
Right. And
They
that's
birthed
what
a child. That's what's messed up about the system a little bit, what you guys are going with this. But my thing is, I was a great dad, but I had a great communication with my ex-wife. The most people that are now talking like what James was just talking about, they had a bad relationship with
the
the
mom.
mom and the father.
Yeah.
The kids are the ones that are getting screwed over in this whole deal.
Or
I'm sorry.
Or the mom didn't give a damn and still drug his name through the mud.
Yeah.
That's
exactly
what she did.
Every
Yep.
parent out there, if they're not talking bad toward the kids, the mom or dad are talking bad, parents are talking bad about them to their friends, to a coworker, and everything else. It doesn't matter.
So let's get back to this. Let's get back to the story. So the whole time the mom was bad mouthing the dad as he lived down the street taking care of his kids, spending the money that he needed to make sure they were taken care of. She's still bad mouthing. Now, 20 years down the road, his daughter starts a podcast, bad mouthing her dad, how he wasn't around.
Even though she knew he was.
There's photos of this guy spending tons of time with her, taking her different places all over the country, spending time with her, but she still, because she was brainwashed by her mom.
it's that venom. That venom.
Brainwashed by her mom.
That's a good way to put
They're
it.
being injected by that venom.
That her dad was a
yeah.
horrible dad and never paid any attention to it, never was around. This right here is where the line should be drawn.
Yeah.
All right. So my story
I'll go with that.
stems as a divorced parent.
Yeah.
17 years or 18 years ago. It's
Okay.
been a minute. Chris is going through it currently. So
yeah.
wherever you want to focus, but I have stories. We would be here for a week.
Give us one story that is
All right,
on
I'll
top
give
of
you
your head.
one story off the top of my head. When we finally divorced, she was a dental hygienist.
Yeah.
I was, what was I doing at the time? I might have been selling cars. I'm not sure. I was working. Regardless, I was never without work. But
Right.
she quit her job as a dental hygienist because she got burned out and went to work at a gas station.
So she stepped down.
So when the time came for me to pay child support, it went from here to here.
Right.
And she didn't have to work no more as a dental hygienist because she could make it on the other salary.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward, after I didn't see him for a couple of years because she didn't keep up her end of things. Thank you.
Keep going.
She excuse me. After not seeing him for a couple of years, she
Warm water here. Keep going.
she give me a second. My voice is really
Yeah. Keep going there.
My kids found out that we had a conversation years later that she was lying to him the whole time, telling him that I didn't pay child support. But yes, I had zero balance. I paid all of my child support.
Mm-hmm.
So she was lying to them about that. So she was keeping that difference between what she was making as a hygienist and, or at least part of it.
Right.
But that's just one of those
instances. For instance, like I have a story similar to that. Okay. Back in 2017, when I was first getting custody established for my oldest son, we went to the courts.
Go ahead. You keep going.
Oh, I had, so I was working a job. I was only making $12 an hour at the time. The mother was working 2 jobs. She was working 2 jobs at the time. Well, once they started getting everything together to establish the joint custody, 50-50, whole 9 yards, they decided to go based off of income on who would actually going to pay, child support. Well, mind you, the mother was working 2 jobs, which totaled more than what I was making an hour at that $12 an hour job.
Really?
She ended up quitting the one job, and then the other job that she was working at the restaurant, because it was owned by her friend's family, they decided to take her off payroll and pay her under the table. So it appeared like she was unemployed and wasn't making any money. So then they decided to charge me. So basically, where she was making more money at the time, it appeared based off the paperwork and documentation that I was making more money, and they charged me child support, and I had to pay monthly child support, even though I had 50-50 joint legal and physical custody. So I had him the same amount of time as the mother, but I still have to pay her out every month.
Yeah.
Even though she's working all these other jobs and stuff. It's like, are you serious?
Right. And then
that's how it goes.
And let me add one more thing, if I can, back to where I was. Not only when she quit her job as a dental hygienist, went back at a convenience store. When they asked her, because I didn't take representation into the court, when they asked her what I did for a living, she told them I was a carpenter, which I was. I thought I had been selling cars, but I went back into construction. So they based it off a union scale carpenter wage, which was almost twice as much as what I was actually making. But that was the only thing that they could appoint it to as a carpenter. They didn't have a regular, John Doe carpenter. So, I mean, that doubled my child support. I mean, I made it work. I worked like a dog for my kids. Mm-hmm. They know nothing about it. They don't know how many hours I put in. They don't know how much time I put in, because they were being lied to on the other end. I told you I should have brought my folder. Yeah. And maybe we'll get into this another time.
Maybe this will be a part 2.
It may be. Because I've got letters from my children when they were 12 and 14 years old telling me that they don't want to be with me. They don't want to spend time with me. They don't want anything to do with me.
And this is part of all the
venom.
Yeah, the venom.
The venom, for sure.
That is.
I mean, that's a great word for it, because it is absolutely
slowly injecting venom, and it's slowly spreading.
Like we said, we're not condemning all women.
No, absolutely not. I'm not a woman basher. I
love women. I love women.
We're not.
I'm married for the 3rd time because I love women.
Yeah,
I want to be with somebody that wants to be with me. I mean, and treat me well.
Right.
But when you ain't treated well in a relationship, it's difficult. But the worst part, and to stay on topic, quit using these kids as pawns.
Man, that is the main thing right there, is what I'm dealing with right now.
It ain't about me.
Using my son
and
kids as a weapon against me.
We're adults.
My son, my oldest is 7,
how old
and my youngest is 2. But my oldest is the one that's literally getting fed so many different lies.
But
and it's sad.
But do you think in the outcome it could change where the kid's gonna finally realize
absolutely
mom's full
It
shit.
takes a lot.
Yes, but
it takes a lot though.
The worst part that my son is dealing with now, my 7-year-old, is he is being on that side because now, okay, during my marriage, my oldest son's mom and my ex-wife, they hated each other. They didn't like each other. They didn't even want to communicate with each other. But since the divorce, my ex-wife reached out to my oldest son's mom, and now all of a sudden they're best friends. And she is constantly spitting venom to my oldest son's mom constantly. And then they're both double teaming my 7-year-old son against me. And my 7-year-old son has even stepped up to them and says, Daddy doesn't do that stuff. That's not true. Daddy's not like that. But when they're constantly on him, saying the same things repetitive over and over and over and over, it starts to change his outlook on certain things. And then he starts questioning things, especially if he's not able to see me or be around me.
So to go with the whole venom thing, do you think the women are pretty much jealous of all of us? Anything that anybody that's out there that has divorced
kids,
because it could be a jealous thing. Well, hear me out. It could be a jealous thing because they see how happy you are without them. Yeah. They want you to be miserable. Yeah. So
misery loves company.
They feed the kids everything that they hate into the kids. So then it's something that they can maybe knock you off your pedestal because the kid is now going to get at you and maybe drive that knife into you like she's doing. But that's not going to work because the kid's going to realize my dad is awesome.
But,
so,
go ahead, Chris.
For instance, my oldest son gave me a nickname. Okay. He calls me the Hulk. All right. So now a lot of people know of the Hulk, and know based off of how he becomes the Hulk, how Bruce Banner turns into the Hulk. Yeah. Well, his mother tried to take that into a negative. And so did my ex-wife. And they tried to turn it into a negative and say, oh, he has anger issues. Oh, he needs anger management. Oh, he's aggressive. Oh, he's abusive. Oh, this, and this. But my son had to step up and say, and then they told him, they was like, oh, that's why you call your dad the Hulk. He says, no, that is not why I call my daddy the Hulk. I call my daddy the Hulk because when it comes to someone hurting his loved ones or doing his loved ones wrong or someone he really cares about, that's when the Hulk comes out because he gets protective over them.
Right.
My 7-year-old son said that.
I like that a lot. That's pretty good.
So it's like, that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about as far as them twisting things. They're taking very innocent things that my son will say, and they're twisting it and trying to make it into a negative.
A child's mind is very, very easily to manipulate.
Very much
it's
so.
Delicate.
It's like a sponge.
I mean, it's delicate too. Yeah. I can only imagine what my kids were thinking when I drove. Instead of halfway, I drove all the way to pick them up one weekend when I was supposed to get them. Now, I never got my kids for almost 2 years. I was in the court every other week filing custody complaint forms that I still have.
Yeah.
And they would award me extra time. An extra weekend. And I would tell him, I'm not getting them in the first place. You think that she's going to give them and consent to me having them on an extra weekend?
Yeah, right.
I said, but this has been going on for months and months and months.
Yeah.
So finally I drove all the way. I'm a 2-hour drive, not that big a deal. I get there, I pull up to the apartment, I go knock on the door. No answer. So I wait around for a half hour, 45 minutes. I see no activity, no cars coming and going, no kids outside. So I knock again, nothing. I think we went and got something to eat. I came back, waiting at the door, nobody home. So my son was 14 when we divorced. When he was 17, he moved in with me after finding out all the things that his mom was lying to him about. He moved in with me the senior year of high school and asked me all the questions. Like, why don't you pay child support? I said, here it is, 0 arrears. I don't owe any back child support. I am current.
Yeah.
Why didn't you ever write us or send us birthday cards or Christmas cards? I had every one I sent. I have photocopied every one of them that I
Damn, you
sent.
photocopied them?
I did
Good for
because
you.
I knew
Wow.
her.
Wow.
Like I
They
said,
didn't get not a one.
Right.
Wow.
Not all
He
women
said
are like
what?
that, but
Yeah.
No,
You
same
get
time,
some that are.
for
you're
real.
some.
And I wanna give credit to those mothers that are actually playing it right.
Right.
I give
And
you credit
keeping the
for
kids out of
Right,
it.
right.
Because it ain't the kid's fault.
No.
Y'all two couldn't get it together. You don't have to worry about it. Just keep the kids out of it. So anyway, I have so many stories like that. But my son moved in with me, so he understood. He got it. My daughter was my ex's only friend. She was her only person.
Yeah.
So she felt obligated to her mother to hang out and not come be with dad. She's 29. She's still
to this day,
partial to making sure her mom's feelings and reactions are appropriate instead of mine.
Right.
She just got married.
Yeah.
They had a courthouse marriage. So
Wait a minute. Who did it?
my daughter.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Thanks, Joe.
I
No,
got confused.
my daughter just got married, and she's my only daughter.
Yeah.
So as a dad, I was looking forward to it. She told me they were getting married at the courthouse. I said, well, they got a hallway. We can treat it like an aisle. I'll come up there and walk you down the hallway. I don't care. I just want to be there.
Yeah.
She's like, all right. Well, a month before the wedding, she sent me a text from her and her fiance that said they just want their witnesses there. Nobody else is invited. Thanks. Don't let this be hurtful, but
bullshit. Fuck that.
How do you not?
Yeah, that's jacked up.
Dude,
How do you not? So, like I always do, like many of us fathers who be the bigger
you
person.
take that bullet and
we'll
swallow
take
it,
it.
right?
Yeah.
Nah, I wouldn't swallow.
Well, that's the thing is I've done that a lot, man.
But I did because her mom was the witness.
I was just gonna say who's the witnesses. That's what I was getting at. That's what I was gonna ask.
She's already got them picked because she's been brainwashed over the years.
No, because she didn't. Maybe she
didn't want any negativity around it. Although we've been around each other.
Yeah, she didn't want the confrontation of the two parents there. I give the kids more credit. I think I'm more thinking outside the box.
And I give her credit for actually saying it or putting it out there.
I've still been there. No,
but
no matter
you could already tell by the way he was telling the story that this right here that was a kick in the face.
It was.
It felt like it
because
it did.
She wanted to protect the mom's.
But I don't blame my daughter so much because it wouldn't be like that if her mom hadn't been doing what she did
the way she was
the whole time she was growing up. She was 12 when we divorced, so she had her through all the
tough times.
Yeah.
For me, just this past year, so my oldest son's mom decided she wanted to take him from me, kept him from me for it was about 4 to 5 months ish, roughly. She moved him to Indiana. She ended up, I didn't know where he was. I didn't know nothing. She just took him from me. I didn't know where he was or anything. Later found out that he was in Indiana. She enrolled him in school down there. So it was his first grade year, but I missed out on like 2 to 3 months of his first grade year, and when I actually would go and I finally came back around and I was able to come back around and see him and stuff like that, he asked me, he says, Daddy, why weren't you around? Mommy said that, I should be scared of you because you're angry. You're a very angry person and all of this stuff, and you're very aggressive. And I'm like, wait a minute. I asked him, I said, Kaden, I said, am I really that type of person? He says, no. I was like, so you have to take things. Sometimes you can't believe everything that you hear. You know what I mean? You have to believe what you see. Mm-hmm. Because there's a lot of times people will say certain things, but if you don't physically see that, then why would you want to believe? You know what I'm saying? I'm the type of person that I have to see it to believe it. And my son tells me all the time, he's like, Dad, you're always there for me. Dad, you always have my back. He tells me this all the time. He's like, Dad, we always have fun. Every picture that you see with his mom, me, and him in it, guess who's he's hugged up on? Me. You know? And it's like, okay, you're sitting here trying to make it seem like my son is afraid of me. My son is scared of me. They've called CPS on me twice, and I've beat both of them. My ex-wife called, and so did my oldest son's mom. And they closed both the cases because they said, based off of what we see with your son around you, there's no abuse. There's no aggression. Right. Your son's not afraid of you. Your son loves you.
Yeah.
And they're still feeding him this venom, telling him like, no, you need to be afraid of your dad. You need to be scared of him. He's this type of person. He does this. He does that. And it's like, when is this all going to end? When is it going to stop? You know, they're taking the matters into their own hands because, for one, my oldest son's mom got really angry when they took me off child support, and she stopped getting money from me. So as soon as they canceled the child support, all hell broke loose.
All her benefits were gone.
Yeah, because I can tell you how many cars she's gotten off of the child support money. And she'd trash them. And then she's like, oh, I'm getting more money. And then she'll go and buy another car. She'll do that. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, it's like she'd have her hair done. She'd get her nails done, you know, using the child support money. But my son is over here in clothes that's too small for him. My son is going to school without a haircut. He's looking dirty, you know, during the weeks that I pick him up. So when I go pick him up, my son looks dirty. He smells dirty. He stinks.
But partially in that is because then you're going to get him a haircut. Then you're going to buy him the new clothes. Then you're going to buy him the new shoes. And she's getting more money from you.
Regardless.
But you know what changed that? You know what changed that? Is like every time we did the swaps, after I bought him new clothes or my parents got him new clothes, I got him all of that stuff, right? I would cut his hair myself. I wasn't paying for a haircut. I cut it myself. My son loved that. He would ask me for a certain style. I'd cut it for him. But when it came to swapping, she had to bring clothes for him to put in because she was not taking none of my clothes with her.
Well, that's how you're supposed to do. No offense. I've been through all that. I've been through everything you guys were saying, except yours so far, the whole marriage thing. Not yet. But
hopefully you don't.
Oh, no. I only have one. She's 19 now, and she lives with me full time.
Perfect.
Because she picked me over her mom. But my thing is, with what you just said, you can't be pissed. No offense. You can't be pissed and that bitter what she does with your money for child support. You couldn't. You can't. No offense. No,
you kind of can, especially if my son is suffering.
In my eyes,
Your eyes,
they don't. I know, but no. Wait, let me finish.
Go ahead.
You can't be that pissed off because it's the money that she gets from you. She can do anything what she wants with that money. The court does not tell her pay this with this.
Right.
Pay this with this. No
exactly.
offense. Until that law comes out there, don't be bitter and pissed off about it. Let me ask you, but you cannot do it. I can't.
Are you paying child support or are you receiving?
I'm done now.
She's over 18.
Paid.
But I never received.
Okay.
We had an agreement. I will admit this. We had an agreement. I still paid child support for my daughter. Then the money that she gets back to me. We made that agreement.
Okay, so you
because I couldn't. You
had a good co-parenting system for sure.
Because we
correct.
But we left.
Let me get some applause for those co-parenting people out there because
that are doing it the right way.
That's the way it should be.
Yes.
Yeah, really.
I cannot be pissed off what she did with that money when she did get it.
All right. So now when my son shows up at 17 years old and asks me why I don't pay child support,
then you did the right thing. What you did, you showed proof. Said, I'm caught up. Then you say a little bit, I don't know what your mom's doing with the money.
And let me say this
That's all you gotta say. I don't know,
we go too far.
Because no kid should not know financials between two parents.
But I meant to lead with this.
Mm-hmm.
I never spoke an ill word about my ex-wife to my children.
You're the better person. I mean,
me neither.
Honestly, and most anybody else. I just left it alone.
Right.
But the stories I heard coming back,
yeah.
From the hometown that I grew up in,
she definitely drug
your name through the mud.
I mean,
it sounds like.
What's the purpose of that?
No, because the victim role is a big thing for women. To make them think about it. If you think about it, women love to play the victim.
There's men out there too that do the same thing, but I do understand what you're saying, especially a divorce.
I understand where you're going.
That's the thing. Society will bend more towards a woman playing the victim card than a man would.
Right, exactly.
For sure, honestly.
Yes. And when they play the victim card, everybody listens.
Yeah.
Now, when the guy plays the victim card,
they're like, "Oh, you need to man up. You a pussy."
Yeah.
The man up. Yeah, cowboy the fuck up.
Yeah, like you a pussy.
God, what's wrong with you?
Really? That ain't even that bad.
Seriously?
Really?
Get a better job.
But sometimes it's bittersweet when guys actually win that battle to get child support from a woman.
Right.
It's a bittersweet deal.
The reason I agreed to come tonight and be on here, and I appreciate your invitation. Thank you very much,
problem,
James.
No problem,
Joe. I want my kids to know how much I love them.
Yeah.
It still goes on today.
Shit, I see in your eyes. I see in your eyes how much you love.
You probably hear my voice too.
Yeah, exactly.
I see it.
I mean, it's been years.
Yeah.
And I just wish now we have a little bit of there's 4 hours between us, or 4.5 hours between us. So that puts a little burden on things, especially price of gas and stuff today.
Right.
Yeah. That's a different topic right there. But yeah, I mean, it's about the kids. I don't mean to sit here and make out that my ex-wife was the devil. I don't want to do that. I don't want to throw that out there. That's not why I'm here. I'm here for my kids.
Yeah. Because I just want that's the main thing is, and I want here for what's Chris, best for my kids, man. Like,
right.
My biological father wasn't in my life growing up until I turned 18. I had only seen him 5 times. You know, he was barely around. Then once I turned 18, I received a phone call, and it was him apologizing for not being there. And he admitted that he had received my graduation invitation, but he didn't want to come, knowing that was a very important time in my life.
Right.
You know, my dad, luckily my stepdad, which is my dad, you know, he's raised me since I was 5 months old. He filled that empty void, you know, that my father left.
At least you still got the void. Yeah, I give you credit. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I know that hate and that anger that I felt towards my father for not being there, I don't ever want my kids to feel that.
For real.
So I do everything that I possibly can to remain in my kids' life 100% and do everything that I can for my kids, because I want them to know that, hey, daddy is always going to be here. Daddy is always going to know and going to be there to catch you when you fall, teach you how to ride a bike, or, you know, if something's wrong, or take you to your sports training practices and all of that. Like, daddy is going to be there.
As long as they know that.
That's all I want, is to know, like, daddy is going to be there. When I go off of when my son gave me that name as the Hulk, I take that wholeheartedly.
Oh, for sure.
Because I'm like, you know what? Daddy, and he told me, he said, Daddy, the Hulk is the strongest there is. Nothing can beat the Hulk.
Except Thanos.
No, but this is the thing. He's like, nothing can beat the Hulk. Nothing can beat you. He says, that's why you're my dad. He was like, nobody can beat you. You're the strongest there is. Now, I know for a fact, I got some physical strength, okay? But I ain't going to say I'm the strongest man in the world. Right. But to my son's eyes, I am.
My dad,
and I will forever keep that. You know what I'm saying? I don't ever want to lose that. Right. Because one thing that my parents told me is that when you lose that superhero icon out of your children's lives and their eyes, then what do you have?
So it's a wrap.
Trying to get that back is going to be exactly. You have to try to keep that title as long as you can, because as long as your kids look up to you as their superhero, that's forever love right there, man.
Now, what do you guys think should be changed in the court system? I've heard one thing that child support should be abolished.
Well, I feel like this.
If there is, child support should be abolished.
I feel like this. If it doesn't get abolished, I feel like child support honestly should go into a trust fund for the kids.
But in Michigan, it doesn't. It goes more to the
That's
state.
What I'm saying. If there was a way to get it to go into like a trust fund.
Yeah.
Okay. So that way, when the kids get, 18, and you have all of those, that 18 years of the, the month-to-month payments going into that account and that trust fund, guess what? Those kids are going to be set up for a decent little jump off once they become into the adult world.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's almost like building them a savings account, but not really doing it. But you're actually putting in for the kids.
But if they, back to James, when you said abolish the child custody,
child support,
or
the support.
Especially for the guys that actually put,
both parents put into that same fund.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's what it should be.
Treat every divorce as a equal,
right?
Unless the parent is undeserving of that with a court record and different things. If there's stuff against them, obviously, or her, obviously, don't award that to them.
Right.
But the kids are the most important thing if they're in a relationship of divorce. I was a product of a divorce when I was 11 and a half, 12 years old.
Yeah.
I went through it. I went through from a house full of people to my mom and I. And as a kid, that's traumatic.
Yeah, I can imagine.
My mom talked crap about my dad all the time.
Because she was bitter.
And
all the time.
All the time. I have to give props to my mother, though. Like, my mom never once badmouthed my father. Never once growing up. Even though, and later on, once I became an adult, I found out how their marriage really was and what really happened. And that was another reason why I became very angry. But growing up, my mom has never badmouthed my father to me. Even though everything that he had did and all the different things like that, she never once talked bad about him to me. Yeah. So she never caused my way of thinking to feel one way about him. No. The only feelings that I did feel was, where is he?
But was I wrong for not talking about her? Because she talked about me and I still have that hard relationships with my kids. Yeah. Should I have been talking about her and the things that she did wrong in the relationship just to equal the field? You know what I'm saying?
Don't fuel the
but it's about the kids, and that's why I didn't do that.
Right.
Because I'm not going to try to sway them one way or another. It doesn't look at me. See me for who I am.
Exactly.
And you will know in your heart what you need to know. It's not about.
I'm going to go with your little thing with the whole court thing, but I'm going to go a little spin off of it a little bit.
Okay, go ahead. Knock it out.
Do you think instead of child support, do you think half the time people are out there don't know what they're doing when they get divorced with the paperwork,
that's where it gets messy.
Where you don't know the lingo of child support or anything out there that need to find someone that can help you know what you're signing.
For sure.
Know what you're doing.
The fine print.
Know the fine print, because the fine print is what is, no offense, is fucking everybody's up.
Man, you're not lying.
I'll tell you this much. I would hate to be in California because it's lifetime alimony.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's one thing we don't have here.
Really?
Lifetime alimony.
We don't have alimony in Michigan.
Lifetime alimony.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we do.
We do?
Yeah, we do. We do.
Oh, okay. I guess I didn't.
We do.
I've known one.
Because I have to.
Which is just think about crazy. Lifetime alimony for the woman, more or less. Or the bread.
And if she had been that venomous person in the relationship, that what a bigger kick in the balls than that.
Yeah. So, and not only that, with that alimony, child support, whatever else is thrown in there throughout the courts,
right?
That man has to pay for it. That means he has to give up half of his money, wherever the case may be. Then he has to pay child support, and then he has to pay what other expenses that me have to pay, like just for like lawyer fees, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I couldn't afford the lawyer fees. That's why I didn't go to lawyers.
This is why men's
I have a couple questions for you.
This is why men's mental health is so low and so undervalued right now.
Right.
Because we don't look at men's mental health as a something that's like valued. Think about if you think about this. Think about how many women's help groups there are in the United States. How many do you have for men? You don't have.
There's not that many at all.
When I was going through my divorce, James, somehow I lived in Lansing. They were up by Traverse City.
Yeah.
Somehow I had to go up to a counselor in Traverse City, court appointed, every weekend because she told the court that I was passive aggressive.
Yeah. I have to go through that now.
So I had to go from Lansing to Traverse City every week to go to a counseling appointment and take tests and stuff about how passive aggressive I was.
So they're studying your mental health.
When she, I swear, was the one with the mental health issues. I mean, realistically,
70% of women are either on
and that was court appointed.
Antidepressants.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Adderalls.
Or something that helps them cope with their
alcohol.
Alcohol, big time.
That's another one. Helps them cope with their mental issues.
Yeah.
70%. That's a lot of women.
That's a lot of
in
women.
This country. A lot of women. And
now, thank God that there is that availability for some of them women that really need it.
Yeah.
But there are other women out there that are just like us, that are unmedicated, that can, because it's choice.
Yeah.
They can function properly.
Every
and that's
day
the thing.
to function properly and do what you need to do in life.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. So, like, for instance, you know, all of the stuff that I was dealing with this past year, year and a half, they're like asking me, they're like, how are you still sane? How are you don't take any medications, you don't take any prescriptions or anything. How do you do this? Like, how? And I'm like, you know what? It's a mental thing. You know what I mean? There's times where I'm not even gonna lie to you. There's times where I get off by myself sometimes and I just let everything out.
Sure.
And there's been times where I've literally broken down and straight cried because I'm like, I can't believe
that's your release.
This is what I'm dealing with. I'm going through this, you know?
Release.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, but most of the time I'm pretty a positive person. Okay. So I'm very positive. When I'm going around people, I like to have a good time. I like to have fun. You know what I mean? I try to make people laugh. I try to see people smile, you know, things like that. But that's more of like me in a way, I guess, helping myself. Because when I'm helping other people smile, it's making me smile.
Oh, absolutely.
Think about this, Chris. Right now, you're voicing out all your frustrations right now. How do you feel about that? How does that make you feel right now?
It's like weights being lifted in a way.
It's a weight lift off your chest.
It is.
Yeah.
You can breathe.
It is.
Because you're not the only one and think about it. You're not the only person that's going through this.
Exactly.
Sometimes you feel that way.
It's always going to feel that way, though.
Man, it does.
Sometimes you feel that way.
It's going to feel that way.
Like you're the only person this is happening to.
I mean, what you're going through, he went through already.
Yep.
Exactly.
What you're going through, I went through.
Yeah.
And
I haven't gone through it.
Yeah. No, he hasn't gone through it. But.
Not with the marriage part.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Our camera guy, he's gone through it. I mean, everybody in their life has gone through it. But my question is,
in the back.
Actually, to the both of you, I hate to ask you this. Do you think it would be different if you had better reputation at the court to read through the fine print, or have more, have more money, or have more money to, after what happened, fight more and get more money, start trying to push it? Like, so you,
I was gonna say this too, Joe.
Go ahead. I know what you're probably gonna say, maybe, but what you went through with her not letting you see the kids after something, then you went back to court and still wasn't. I was
supposed to get them every other weekend, holidays, all
for not
summer.
Having money. You couldn't go to the court system and say, "Hey, she's not letting me have my kids."
Oh no, I could have.
Yeah,
I went to the court every other week with my complaint form. I got awarded makeup time,
but makeup time's not getting the kids.
Correct.
Exactly.
So, my next step was to push it even further. Now we're talking about her being in contempt of court and having to go to jail.
You need to show the kids that.
So, well,
because that's going to show the kids what you're fighting for.
But is putting their mom in jail the answer?
And that's the thing, is that I have conflicting with myself.
But you didn't do it, so it shows that you have remorse a little bit for their mother. So it shows them saying, "My dad is still that awesome." My dad is I'd say not Hulk, but Spider-Man.
Right. And that's who my son references himself as Spider-Man.
Oh, you want to be Iron Man? All right, I'll give you Iron Man.
For instance, like that situation right there, dude, I've been dealing with it, been going through it constantly.
Yeah, you're dealing with it now.
Well, like exactly, like right now, this moment, you feel me? And so like
is there a limit that you can push it at the court and then back off at the last second before they put her in jail? Or
this is the thing.
You can show remorse. You can.
But see, for instance, like I had the opportunity in the beginning to get full custody. I had great representation, at that time in 2017 to get full custody of my oldest son. But me being me, I didn't want to take rights away from the mother. So I did not. I wanted to keep both parents because I know how important it is to have both parents in a child's life.
Right.
Is it? No, I hate to say this, not because of what you just said. Is it because what happened in your past with your childhood because of your dad not being there?
In a way,
is that why you didn't push that envelope saying I want my? But then I hate to say this,
my lawyer asked me.
Now.
He says, "Hey, do you want 50-50 or do you want full custody? Whichever one you want, we're going for."
You couldn't have joint custody.
That's the 50-50 joint. I have joint legal and joint physical. But I told him, I said, "Look, I don't want to take the mother out of my son's life. I don't." And now I look at it now and it's an honest regret.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I could have, and it would have been so different now compared to, because the way things are now, trying to go for full custody now is even harder. Because for one, yes, my son is older and my son is that person that loves both of his parents.
It's actually, if you almost won that, you would probably still win it again.
And you know what? I have a hearing coming up.
But now they can talk to the child and the child can give their advice to the judge. And they might not lean that way. And
that's the hopes of right now. So I have a hearing coming up next week. Actually, I have a hearing coming up next week, and it's the show cause that I filed because the mother moved out of state and she took my son, and she's been keeping it. And this is literally the third time she has kept my son from me like this. And I have all the makeup parenting time denial forms and everything backed up. To the Annie. This is the third time she has kept him from me for months on end. So the previous times I just filed a motion. It was in front of a referee. Slap on the wrist for her. This time, guess what? It's going in front of the judge that initially did the order in 2017.
Yeah, because it has to be the same.
It's judge. A show cause.
Yeah.
Therefore, I can present all of that. She's well aware of that. This is not the first time that she's taken my son from me, kept my son away from me, been in contempt of court, moved out of state, whole 9 yards. So right now, the hope is that I will finally get that full custody of my son 7 years later.
Right.
See, I don't see it 7 years later. I know it's 7 years later, but in my eyes, because I'm a optimistic person. I don't really see a negative in anybody, even people that just make fun of me. I don't care. But my thing is,
what about Nick?
Oh, I'm not mad about that one still. His way of thinking was wrong. But his way of thinking was wrong still. But I don't see a negative in anything really, even that's the way of thinking.
Go ahead.
But I lost my train of thought.
Sorry, I thought
you said you don't see the 7 years.
I don't see the 7 years as a bad thing because it's 7 years now. You're gonna have if you had that, it's 7 years you can take back what you lost and give it back to him. And no, you can shake your head back there, but it's a 7 years that you could show him more love. You could show him what he's missing.
Yeah.
You can show him you're not going to take back what
that's
his father said.
That's the perfect world view. Yes.
It's not going to be
that's
perfect.
The perfect world
correct. View. It's not going to be perfect.
No, but that's what you just described. Yeah, a perfect world. You can give that back to him.
You could give it back, but because
7 years lost, 7 years lost, and you can't regain that because you it's an everyday experience.
I'm just thankful that I was around for my kids' first steps. I was around for those big moments. I was around for a lot of that stuff. I'm glad for that.
And I missed that for my youngest.
That's where he's at.
I wasn't there for everything.
My youngest is 2 years old. Before a few months ago, I hadn't seen him since he was 8 months. And so I missed his first word. I missed his, all of that, because that's what my ex-wife did. She kept him from me, so it kind of made things harder. So now though, I'm able to, my first visitation is I have like every other Saturday with him. And they only approved me 3 hours. So from 4 to 7, to see him, and to spend time with him. And it's at a place where it's like, and it is supervised.
So
as well.
it's because of what she's
kept saying about me and those false accusations about me. So my lawyer at the time advised me to just go with it for now. And then in 6 months, after you get some more time or whatever with that, then it could be a change of circumstance and we can go back and revisit the situation and get me more time, with him. But the thing is, he was 8 months old when I last seen him. He was over a year going on 2. He just turned 2 June 30th. Okay. Not seeing him for a year. When I walked in there into the establishment and he seen me, his reaction said everything. He didn't act like he didn't know me. He hugged me. He just, I have pictures. He legitly like acted like he knew me and remembered me. Yeah. And my fear going into it was that he wouldn't recognize me. He wouldn't know me. Right. But he was only 8 months when he had seen me last. Yeah. But what really did it was for my oldest son and my youngest son. My oldest son, I did skin to skin with him first. He was my birthday twin, actually. My oldest son was born on my 23rd birthday. So I was up there on my birthday at the hospital during the day he was born. His mom had an emergency C-section. So she was unable to do the skin to skin with him after he came out. She couldn't feed him or anything like that. So guess who did the initial skin to skin and the feeding? Me. So I established that initial bond with my oldest son. His first day in the world.
That means a lot.
And then my youngest as well. I did the skin to skin with him and did that too. So it's like, no matter how much time they take away and the children away from me, that bond is still always going to be there between me and my kids.
The bond's always going to be there.
For sure.
Every parent in my eyes, I will fight this to the death. My eyes, every parent should be there for their kids. I hate parents, wives, husbands. Doesn't matter. If there's a grandparent that's out there that wants to give their love to those kids, let them give them love.
Yes.
Every kid needs that love from someone in that damn family.
Yeah.
I hate
that. And then it
drives me up a wall.
It hurts, dude.
It does.
When when they take the kids from you and you can't see them and like the connection that you have. My oldest son is like it's crazy. Like my oldest son is connected to me in so many ways because he's been with me. He's been around me. He's like, that's every other week I have my oldest with me, and after, I lost my grandmother going on 3 years ago, right? The night that she had died, my son was with me, but he had just left and went with his mom. And then all of a sudden later that night, my grandmother passes in the home. So he had just missed that. But I was really close to my grandmother, right? And my oldest son was too. He was very close to her. He used to snuggle up with her and always say he had butterfly dreams whenever he slept in her bed and stuff like that. Like he adored her and she adored him too. Well, after she was gone, these last few years, my son has been I've been his comfort. He's been mine because me and him live in my grandmother's old home. The home that she passed away in, we live in that home. That's now my home, So I'm there when he's not with me. I tend to stay away from home a lot because it gets a little weary being there alone sometimes. But when my son is with me, we keep each other company. We build Legos. We have fun. Yeah. We do certain things, arts and crafts and stuff to keep our minds occupied. When my son comes up to me, he's like, "Daddy, I miss Gigi." And I'm like, "I know, I do too." And then we try to do fun things or try to do something to occupy us. But the fact is that they know that kind of bond that me and my son have, and even my youngest son as well. And they're trying to keep them from me because they know that's what gets me. And that's the sad part is it's hard to break me. It's hard to get to me. They know that, but they know the one things that I really do care about, that I will do anything for, is my kids.
Right.
Never give
And
up
that's
that
what
hope.
this
Never
is
give up
all
that hope.
about.
Yeah, never give up that hope
This
about
hope.
those kids, because in your case, if it obviously, I think it will work out for you, but if it happens from now to when I got my daughter, I didn't have my daughter from when we got divorced when she was 5, and then her and her mom did the same thing you guys were talking about, and what I like the word you used, venom. Did all that. It hurt. It does hurt, but you gotta just
and I'll
grunt
own
that
it.
pain.
What she told him might not have been a lie.
You had to fight that pain. And the outcome, I got her full time when she hit 7th grade, and I had her ever since. And it was the best years of my life. I saw her graduate middle school, graduate high school.
Go through puberty.
Now, go through all the boys shit. I had her through the rough times of my life.
Right.
And now she's off to college and being on the dean's list. I have her through the, and
wow,
now
proud
she's
of that moment.
now she doesn't talk to her mom as much, and her mom doesn't talk to her much. But I pushed that envelope. So I still push that envelope to push her to go talk to her mother. They hadn't falling out because she finally realized who the mother was.
Well, when they
What she was all about.
Yeah.
Right.
So if it have hope, be there for your kid.
Right.
Have the kids on the weekend. You get them only on the weekend. You only give them for a couple hours. Soak it up.
So
Be happy.
back to what you were saying, I guess what I want to bring across is the importance of men being educated in a divorce situation.
You have to. Yeah, you're gonna have to. You have to learn the education of it. Yes,
They will blindside you
because the paperwork or their judge or their lawyer or anybody else, if you don't read through that and know the words,
Because
or anything,
it seems
it's gonna be-
slanted already. So if you go in there unprepared, it's going to stay slanted.
Yep.
The only thing you could do is bring it up
And
by
no offense,
educating yourself and trying to.
I hate to say it. I went to the same thing because I could have done the same thing. Yes, you have a great conscience, a great heart for your ex. Don't, because they're not going to have it for you.
No, they won't.
They're not going to have it for you at all. And that you're just showing proof to you.
Sweet as that sounds.
Just showing proof to you. And every woman out there, they're bitter, they're pissed, and they're
very vindictive.
And they're vindictive. And I hate to say it, in the divorce, they're pissed off because whatever happened in between the two relationships, whoever's right or wrong in that scenario, anybody's going to be vindictive. A guy is going to be vindictive because he's going to say, oh, she did this. The female is going to say, oh, he did this. And it could be lies. It could be true. But
better known as
don't be vindictive.
As being accountable for your own shit. Holding yourself accountable.
Right.
When you do that, you just like eliminate any other bullshit.
And that's why I said earlier, I'll own everything I did.
Any other bullshit that you've done, you own up to it. That is thrown out the window once you own up to it. Now the other party, if they don't own up to it, then they're stuck in their own misery.
Right.
Stuck in their own misery.
I did. I told my daughter when she finally asked, did mom said this? Mom said this. Mom said this. Is it all true? I said, I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you I told her from everything I did since I was 16 till then.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that, Joe.
I did.
Holy shit! Don't do that.
I did. I didn't want her to not.
For more awesome content, like and subscribe now.
Get that in right now. Don't tell about all the stuff you did.
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
I understood.
I want no lies. You tell the daughter. You tell your kids the truth. You tell everything what happened with the relationship with the other half.
What age was she when you told her this?
12? No, she was in middle school. So
12, 13?
13.
13,
14,
14, 15.
13, 14,
12,
13.
13, 14.
Yeah.
That's middle school, yeah.
Yeah, right when I got her, because we had that falling out where she was getting more pissed. I want to go back to mom. I said, why? Because I don't know. She just broke down and cried. So I cried with her and told her how it was.
She was used to it.
And I think that's another thing too, is having that conversation with your kids.
I
mean, if I'd have tried to have those conversations with my kids and defended myself to whatever they were hearing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have letters at the house that they wrote me telling me they didn't want to be with me, that, different things.
Well,
because she was standing over their shoulder telling them what to write. And my son admitted that
dictatorship was in full effect.
Yeah.
She was like, no, that's
it is.
Think about it.
I like
the kids
I like
wrote
the words. I like that.
The kids wrote parents to all my family.
Yeah.
That they didn't want anything to do with them anymore.
But you were the bad guy.
Yeah. My whole family turned into be the bad guy.
Because your side?
Yeah, my whole side of the family got letters also that they didn't want anything to do with them anymore because and they were all dictated over top of somebody standing over their shoulder.
Yeah.
I respect you for what you've been through in your life with your kids, and especially the whole what you just said about the wedding. Yeah. And I respect you for not what you did to your ex in the courthouse. I respect that out of you, because that is a real man right there. Does not do that to their kid, to your son,
in front of their kid,
and in front of anything else. Not to throw it underneath the bus.
You know, the crazy part for that is my son has also came up and said, that his mom doesn't care if he's around, but she'll argue, curse, and do all types of stuff in front of him, show him that side. And he's admitted, my mom actually asked him, says, have you ever seen your dad do that? He says, no, dad never argues in front of me. Dad never does that. He always tells me to go into my room or go somewhere else and stay in a child's place. Because there's certain things that she will bring up in conversation in front of him, adult things.
Sure. That shouldn't be
and doing. He's hearing it and exposed to it. But there's things like, and there's even times I've even told her like, Kaden needs to get out of here. Like, why are you talking about that? And she'd call me trying to go off, and Kaden's right there. And I'm like, no, I'm not talking to you about this with Kaden standing here. I'm not talking to you about this. If you're going to have Kaden right there, then you need to end this conversation, and you can pick this conversation up later when he's not around.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll give you this. That happened actually this last weekend. My daughter did chalk the block, painting and all that.
Yeah.
I'm with my girlfriend, and all of a sudden I'm walking up to my daughter where she's painting. And I'm thinking, shit, it's my ex-wife. Till this day, we've been divorced for.
You tried seeing
that? No. I kept on walking. I'm thinking it's gonna be awkward because she's never met my girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
So
makes sense.
I'm thinking, shit. Okay. So I'm walking, and I said hi, introduced. I didn't introduce her to anybody. I didn't say hi to her. I just was talking to my daughter. I said, hey, I like your painting. I'll be back later. I'll let you be with your mom, because this is the first time she's seen her mom all summer. I said, I'll let you have your time with her. And after I left, my ex-wife, still to this day, we've been divorced for, I think, 12 years. Till this day, still talks bad to me in front of my daughter. My daughter defended me, said he's not like that. I don't know what you're talking about. Stop talking bad about my dad. No. He's changed. If it was like that, he's changed. He's a better person. And she told me that, and I said, thank you.
It hit you where it hurt, didn't it? No. It hit you in the heart, didn't
it? To me, when she does that a lot. When she goes to the family functions, they still talk. And I'm thinking to myself, you guys are just jealous of me because I'm happy. I'm not underneath a table. I'm not underneath a rock.
There's something that when a man is happy and
I don't want to be with him.
Yeah.
And with his life,
that
people will get so bent out of shape about.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say it's not quite a question, but I was gonna say this too. It's crazy in regards to my 7-year-old. So I was sitting in church with my mom and dad and my 7-year-old son that day, and I received a text message from his mother apologizing. Right. This was before this whole situation that's going on currently, right? So she was apologizing to me about everything. And in the midst of it, she says, Kaden's been telling me I owe you an apology, but I was ignoring it and didn't want to, do it. But he constantly kept telling me, like, you owe my dad an apology. You owe my dad an apology.
Good kid.
And so she finally apologized, because even he told her, you did daddy wrong. You doing dad wrong. Dad's never done you wrong. Dad's only cared for me and been there for me, and you're keeping me from my dad.
Kids learn, man. They pick up that shit.
It's not just that. Kids learn from other shit now. Social media, TV shows, cartoons. Cartoons are not the same like when we used to watch cartoons. No. I mean, they're now hitting. Now they're hitting it. Now they're hitting shit from the gut. I mean,
Thundercats are definitely not the same.
Oh, Thundercats ain't the same at all.
But I'm saying, I mean, it's rough now because they're learning from other stuff.
Yeah.
They're seeing it with their own eyes. And then they see it on TV and said,
without a doubt.
It's rough.
But see, our cartoons back in the day had a lot of subliminal messages, though. You know,
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, Thundercats.
Come
What are you talking about? Huh?
Ren and
Did you say
Stimpy, come on.
Eric,
You know Ren and Stimpy. You know those shows.
Yogi Bear, Flintstones. How old are you?
Yeah. What?
What?
What are you trying to say? I love the Flintstones.
Were you around when the Flintstones first came out?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you know the live action. You know,
don't find
he
that
knows the
one.
live action movie.
Case closed.
Don't be mad because I'm calling you out. Oh wait, our sound guy might know about the Flintstones.
The Flintstones. He was about the Jetsons. You know, that's what he was on. The Jetsons.
In the same time frame.
There was only one man for the job.
That was me.
It made me old.
I got a Hulk smash for you.
Hey, there you go.
I was about to say it, but
There
I
you
want to
go.
bring out the anger in him.
Right? Nah, you're funny. It's inspiring.
I would say when you see your kid, don't turn green on him though.
No, yeah, for sure.
Chris seems to have a level head about when he's around his kids. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, always.
What do you guys as far as for information to people that are going through will probably go through the same thing in the future, or people that are actually going through the same thing?
Documentation for sure. But I was just talking to a guy at the he was at work, and he came up, he said, hey, you're going through, already been divorced, you're blah blah blah, what kind of advice? And I told him, I said, be careful who you get. I said, make sure you do your due diligence to learn that individual before you decide to tie down with them in that aspect.
Or have kids.
Exactly.
In the first place, right?
Yes, because the thing is, I did that when I got married. We had dated for maybe 3 months and then got married. So it was very abrupt. It was very fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it kind of was
You're still in the honeymoon while
The first 3 months.
And we were married for 3
Hey,
years,
you're so
going on
fucking-
4-ish. We were 3 years for sure. So it's my advice would be take your time. Honestly, take your time. I use this analogy. I said marriage is like a business.
It is a business.
It is. I said if you want a successful business, you have to get good business partners that have the same mental concept, that thinks the same, that can, bring certain things to the table to help your business succeed. If you're just going in and you just get some random John Joe off the streets, right, and talking about, yep, we're going to start this business up, you're my business partner, right? They don't know anything about the business. They don't know anything about, what to do, how to handle it, how to run a business, how to manage it. None of that stuff, right? Do you expect your business to succeed? Not at all. It's not going to. So you have to take that time, do your interviews, you know what I mean?
Keep preaching.
To figure out the proper candidate for the position. Right?
Keep preaching.
So that's what I would say is to, go on your dates. You know what I mean? Go on your dates. Don't tie down with someone right away. Go on your dates. Do your interviews. Ask your questions. Make sure you get some bulletin questions down that you have to ask that are legitimate things that's needed for a successful marriage.
Yeah, put a list together of your pros and cons, or your do's and don'ts, if you will.
Set your boundaries up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if they can coincide with that, if they can work with that, then okay. Then
and if
pursue to the next step. In the hiring
of them off
process.
the list, then consideration,
Right,
because ain't nobody gonna hit 100, and if they do,
Exactly.
watch out.
Exactly.
That's why I said you move to the next step in the hiring process.
Yeah.
So there, you do a background check. You got to drug test them.
What would be
You gotta do all of that.
what would be your advice to the young crowds that are thinking about getting married, having children?
Having kids, if you can do it, have them. Fuck yeah, it's the best thing that ever happened to me.
Man, it really was.
I love
Becoming a
it.
dad is the greatest thing in the
It's the
world.
best feeling. I mean,
But just expect that having kids puts a different aspect into a relationship. It changes people a little bit.
It did.
Yeah,
my ex-wife
mentally and
changed as soon as she had. So, for instance, like she changed. When I say she changed, is like I had my oldest son. She was stepmom to him, mother to him. She did everything, bent over backwards for him. As soon as she got pregnant with the youngest, and she had the youngest, her attitude towards my oldest changed completely.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, changed completely. She was more attentive to the baby, never, and just pretty much pushed him off, you know, and my oldest was pushed off, neglected, whole 9 yards, you know, and I worked, so I was barely ever there. But when I was there, you know what I mean? It was just, I saw what I saw. And I'm like, I can only imagine how bad it was when I was not there and I was at work.
To answer his question, I liked yours with the whole business thing, but I might say it live differently. My thing is, find someone that you love so hardly, like you still have. If you go on those dates, get those butterfly feelings, the first kiss, still have that. I'm a heartless romantic when it comes down to it. So find that person that you want.
I'm with
to
you.
have. Yeah,
Hey, I'm an R&B. I tell them I'm an R&B guy at heart.
My wife,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
8
you
years,
see what I'm saying?
yeah.
So find that person that you always want to say, damn, that was a great kiss. Oh my God.
You need more. You need more of
Yeah.
that person.
And
Every time you see her.
Not you don't want, you want to be with them.
Yeah.
Not you need them. You want to be with them. You want to have them. You want to be around them. It doesn't matter if you're going on a guy's weekend thinking, damn, what is she doing now? What does she have on? That'd be hot to see her, what she has. But then still hanging out with your guys at the same time.
Yep. And see, mine got to the point to where I preferred.
Why you keep shooting that shit at him?
Right. Mine, it got to the point
Stop putting it on.
to where I preferred to be at work rather than being at home. I prefer to be at work. I would purposely
Because
try
you
to
had
work
nobody at the
overtime
house.
because I didn't want to be at home.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, I mean when I was married.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't want.
I didn't want to be at
I'd
home because
find
it was
excuse.
every time I got home, it was always drama. It was always stuff
Yeah,
like
because something was happening. You
Exactly.
didn't have that person yet. And if my eyes, for someone that is just falling in love and thought, damn, she's the one, she's married. Like you said, take your damn time.
take your time.
To figure each other out. At least move in with them and figure out who they are.
That's a good point, right there.
You got to move in with them before.
You got to have
that shows who the person are.
Everything. How they are when they wake up in the
months,
morning.
maybe 6 months.
No, I say
something like that.
no.
that
I
you're
say
living
a
with
year
them.
apart. I mean, a year dating, a year move in.
Yeah,
Then marriage.
yeah.
Both of those concepts shows you everything about you.
Man, you ain't lying.
Partner.
Mm-hmm.
The ins and outs, the ups and downs, the no makeup
Right.
type of person that person.
Because
Wake up
people
next to a
change- people
gremlin and
change.
you're like, oh,
Yeah.
what the hell?
People change.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah,
After a
maybe.
period of
Like the
time,
seasons, like the
people
seasons.
exactly.
So, what would you tell the people that are now thinking are happily in love that want to get married in, no offense,
Mhm.
3 months?
Okay, me, I've never been.
I know it was
I've
stupid.
been engaged twice. Both failed. Maybe it's partly because of me, because my sternness, my no nonsense bullshit mentality, and I seriously I have low tolerance for ignorance and disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those are my two pet peeves right there.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we friends? I'm ignorant.
They're not. Well, ignorance is the definition. Of ignorance
You're a
is
man.
don't-
He
Well,
ain't
see,
interested.
this is the thing. All men are stupid. All women are crazy. That's what I was told. That's what I was taught.
I can relate to some of that, but
keep
where I'm
going.
going with this.
Yeah, keep going.
When you say you're ignorant, ignorance is you just don't know.
Is bliss.
I mean, sometimes
Ignorance is
it's bliss.
Yeah.
But my thing is, when you go into a relationship, make sure that person is the one you can wake up with every day.
Mm-hmm.
And look forward to going to bed with every night.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Now, if you can't do that, you have questions about something like this, or you question that person that you're with, then that's not the right person.
Right.
Right.
Not the
I
right
want to be to the point to where when you look at her, it's like those little love movies where everything blurs out around you
Stop
and the
doing
music
that
plays
fancy
and
crap.
all you see is her. You get what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
That is how I look at it. It's like, all right, if I get that feeling, to where it's like everything is gone and you're just the only thing in my view. Like you're all I see, you know, day in and day out. You're what I see. You're the one that I can't wait to get home to do for. I'm gladly going to work because I'm making money to provide for you, to take care of you, to be there. You're everything. I want to be your rock, your foundation. You know what I mean? I want to lift you up. Like, let me be your backbone.
I just want to find someone that likes my goofiness, because all of a sudden I might just go streaking one day. Or like what happened with Watermark. I went in my Speedo and jumped in a big giant pool in my Speedo. She didn't care, and she didn't care. I found one that does not care that I will all of a sudden just go to a bar in my Speedo.
Yeah, because see, I could be serious, but I love doing goofy stuff.
Yeah, quit that.
You can't find the right button, so shut up.
Oh, you said in your Speedo.
Yeah.
You can't.
Speedo.
What the?
Speedo.
Speedo. Oh, yeah.
What color? No, I'm just kidding.
It is American flag.
Oh, man. Not the American flag, Speedo. He was feeling real patriotic. All
right, guys. We are winding it down.
Yeah.
That was a good podcast. We're doing number 2.
Yeah, we got to.
Yeah, I'll bring my folder next time.
Bring documentations.
Yeah.
Bring that shit.
Before we end it, I want to hear your final thought.
My final thought.
You always got to do a final thought.
All right, guys. My final thought. This is something that hits home because I just got done paying child support. I'm done with child support. Just got that letter in the mail.
Congratulations.
3 weeks ago that said,
because that's a good feeling.
Last month I was done with child support. I wish I had a button. I have a button for that, but I'm not pushing. But now, no. Here's the thing. Like I said, if you going to get involved with someone and you're going to reproduce, make sure that person is the right one. Because the family unit is dead right now.
It is.
It's dead right now. We don't have the father and mother together, and they can't coexist anymore because we got these groups that tell the women that they're so powerful that they don't need a man, they don't want a man, but they'll have a man because they choose to. We need each other. Bottom line, we need each other. Bottom line, men and women need to be put together as two because. What's the old thing that says it takes a village to raise a family? Raise a child.
It takes a village.
Well, and that's another topic too, because
we gotta be more cognitive of what's going on around us. Because right now we're button heads, women and men, button heads. I don't need a man. I don't want a man. I don't need you either. Blah blah blah. It goes. It's a slippery slope when we talk about this, and it's a very dangerous slope that we're going down because we don't know how to address each other anymore. Social media's got us fucked up. TV's got us fucked up, and just like I said, different groups on both sides has us fucked up. Let's forget all that shit. Let's get rid of those groups. Let's get rid of those naysayers on the outside and come together.
Absolutely.
What else can go wrong if you just come together and work together?
Can't we all just get along?
Damn right.
That was deep. It hit me.
Very.
I'm glad it did.
Hit me right.
I'm glad it did.
Hit me.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That is it for the show today, man. We're gonna do part 2 on this.
All right. Looking forward.
Chris Thompson, Eric Burns,
Good job,
Joe Hill, Dennis.
Dennis,
in the
thank
back,
you, buddy.
Man. Thanks for coming through in the last second.
And you hit the button.
We're gonna call you Jordan from now on.
And
Clutch moment.
Buzzer
Clutch
beater.
moment. Buzzer beater.
and he hit the button.
And he hit the button. It's recorded. And we got this covered. But guys, I appreciate you guys coming through.
Thanks for having
story. Us. Like I said, we're doing part 2. We're gonna do it. Get this back together again because this was really good. I agree with that.
Deep.
It was definitely deep.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Hey, next time is a good time. This is we're gonna go out with a bang. All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
hey, thanks for joining us. Next time we got actually, you know what? Never mind. We got another one coming up. Another half an hour. Another episode. Not with these guys.
Different episode.
Different episode. Different
Got
concept.
another one coming.
Different everything.
Stay tuned. Join us. We'll be back. about half an hour. All right, guys. Good guy. Good guy.
Good guy.
Good guy.